Hey YouTube, Mark Hoffman here, and today I have in my pocket this Schrade SCH504, and as you can see, excuse me, it has a fantastic action on it. I have done a few things to get it to this point, and I wanted to make a video about how you can make a cheap knife feel like a $70 or $100 knife. Now, this knife, I actually have been stuck with this knife for about a week and a half because I've been displaced by a winter storm that came through Texas, and this is what was in my pocket when I left the house, and it has been in my pocket for that time. And I just wanted to do my video on it since I feel that it is time to do it. It has gotten a wonderful action on it. The flipper is not the best. They don't give you a lot to grab onto, and it's actually set pretty low. I would have put this up a little higher, but it does flip out with some wrist action. But what I wanted to talk about is what I have done to get it to this point. And I want to give people some hope and an understanding that you can go out and buy a $12 knife, which I bought this one for $12. You can go out and get a $12 knife, and you can make it feel, I mean, it won't act. I mean, this knife doesn't have the craftsmanship of a more expensive knife. It doesn't have the steel of a more expensive knife. And I'll just say it, it doesn't have the look of an expensive knife. This isn't fooling anybody, not even H.R. Giger. So it's not the perfect package, but I wanted to challenge myself. Now, how did I get this knife to act the way it is right now? So one thing I did is I adjusted the detent. The detent was a little loose, not loose, but a little weak. And all I did is take the blade out, stretch this over a little bit, and add some pressure near the bottom here. And it's much better, not too strong. Can still flip it out if I need to. I can also, with some practice, it is frigid out here, so this is probably going to tear up my index finger. Oh, well, if it wasn't, oh man, my fingers are actually pretty numb. There we go. I can index flick that open, and it, oh man, it's so cold. Right now it's about 15 degrees outside, which is very abnormal for Houston. But this knife is in fantastic shape. So I adjusted the detent. I also, what I did here is I added a bronze bushing on the lock side, and then I added a stainless steel bushing on the show side. Now what this is going to do is it gives more stability on this side of the blade, because we do have pressure on the blade when it is being opened, and it's minuscule. It's a very small amount of pressure, but that pressure is going to be now put on a steel bushing instead of a bronze one. So that steel bushing is going to be more stable than a copper or bronze bushing. But the reason why I put the bronze bushing on that side is because it's going to wear out quicker. And what that's going to do over a period of time is it's going to give this a smoother action, which I've had this for a week in my pocket, and the action, I mean, it's not completely drop shutty, but it has an action that is up there with like a Civivi knife for me. This will close reliably, and it will even bounce off the backspacer. So the other thing I did to this is I went in here with a Dremel, and it was a polishing Dremel. with some polishing compound. I polished the areas that the washers would interact with on the scales and on the blade. So when this is interacting with the blade or anything here, it is actually going to be interacting with almost zero friction because I've made those spots mirror polished. Whoops. And so that's actually going to give me a more silky experience to when this opens and closes. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why are you doing this? You can afford those nicer knives, but guess what? There are some people that cannot. And this is a $12 knife, yes, but there are guys out there that want that nice action. They want to be a knife enthusiast. They want to talk about drop shut action, detent, and they want to be able to talk about flippers. Granted, this isn't the best one, but they want to talk about that, but they don't have the budget. Some people live on very tight budgets, live paycheck to paycheck, but they see these knives that they want and they want to be a part of that. And this shows that you can get that even though it's a cheap knife. Yes, this is 8CR 13 MOV, so it's actually a pretty good steel for $12. I'm very impressed by it, and it's easy to sharpen up. But I wanted to just show you guys that you can get fantastic action on a very cheap knife if you're willing to put some work into it, if you're willing to sit there and put some love into it and get something out of it. I will be doing a few fun videos on cheaper knives and what I think about them, but so far this is my $12 knife I've been carrying, and it's done a fantastic job. When we had this snowstorm come through Texas, I actually used this blade to scrape off ice that was on my trunk and back window, so I could actually get stuff in the trunk and leave the apartment. So yeah, this thing did perform very well, and there's no damage on it. And that's probably because of the stone washed blade, but I mean, really, this is a very nice knife. It's not going to win you any awards, but it's not bad. And if you're wanting a knife that is going to have some good action to it and you can tweak it relatively easily and not feel bad if you damage it, this is something to buy. But I wanted to do this and show everybody that you can get some really nice action. And forgive me, I keep doing the thumb flick. The flipper is like flipping your finger on grated cheese, and it's just not comfortable at all. Later in this knife's life, I will actually be grinding away this section and making it flush with the handle here. So that'll be later and probably another video, but I just wanted to show this off and tell you guys that you can get a good knife for very little money. And yes, I know people are diehard Schrade lovers and they want those USA Schrade knives, but Schrade still produces some good competitive knives for not a lot of money, and they do offer some good steels to it. I've seen D2 out of them, 9CR and 8CR steels. Of course, they do still do 7CR and 3 and 5CR, which I would stay away from, but this so far has proven itself. So thank you guys again for checking out my channel and this video, and I just wanted to show you guys that you can get a pretty great knife for not a lot of money if you're willing to put some time into making it that way. And if you are on a strict budget and can't afford even a $40 or a $25 knife because things are tight, you can still get a knife that will do a really good job for $12. So thank you guys again. I hope you enjoyed this video. It didn't really come out the way I wanted. I originally wanted to do this in studio, but you know, this knife has been acting really well, and I just wanted to show it off the way it is now. And oh, another thing I have done to this knife, very minuscule, but if you have the time or if you're willing, I have drilled 2 holes in each of these bushings, and then after that I polished them. These bushings have 2 holes on opposite sides, and there's a little drop of mineral oil on each of them. And what that actually does, those holes will hold the mineral oil as you use this knife and distribute it as you use it. So that's another thing I did do. If you are willing to do that, you can, but I did that just to get some extra longevity in the oiling of the knife. So that I forgot to mention. But yeah, at this point I'm just rambling on, but thank you guys so much for viewing my channel. And if you guys like the action on this knife and how it's reacting in being handled, let me know if it looks good to you. And if you want me to go in depth on how I did this, I will in a later video. So thank you guys again. Hope everybody in Texas, if you are a viewer in Texas, I hope you are safe, and I hope your family is warm and you have a place to be. Luckily, I had some family that were willing to open their doors to me and my wife and baby, and we've been able to stay warm and fed throughout this storm. So thank you guys. God bless, and talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.